No.
That's
Let's see.
right.
Let me see. With Jacob.
Right.
I went too far.
Jacob.
Yeah. Yeah, with Jacob. So I think it's yes, here. And it came to pass after these, the one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick, talking about Jacob. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. Remember, this is his wife's kids too, Ashnath, who is an Egyptian. And one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened him and sat upon his bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz and in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. So God is pretty much reiterating again what he told Abraham back in Genesis 12:3. This is fulfilling itself. Look, well, let's keep going. And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the where? In the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they are also mine, right? They shall be mine. And thy issue, which thou begettest after them, shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. And so he just adopted them. And as for me, when I came from Padan, and Rachel died by me, in the land of Canaan, in the way when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephrath, and I buried her there in the way of Ephrath, and the same is in Bethlehem. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons and said, who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, they are my sons, whom God hath given me in this place. And he said, bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for old age. Now watch what he does. So that he could not see. And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, God hath showed me also thy seed. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand, and towards Israel, left hand was Manasseh in his left hand towards Israel, right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim, which is the youngest child, right? And then who was the younger? And then his left hand upon Manasseh's head, and guided his hand wittedly for Manasseh. So he blessed the young, and then he blessed the older. So guess what he's making a form with his hands? Across. Okay. Wow. So hold on. These two Gentile boys, born from an Israelite man and a Gentile Egyptian woman called Ashnath, was adopted in. This is why in the New Testament you hear spoken about what? Adoption. Because why? It was already done right here, an example from the Torah in the Old. So this is not uncommon at all. We literally see these Gentile boys being adopted into the family. They're not from Jacob's loins. They're from Jacob's loins, but hold on, the mama ain't from Jacob's loins.
That's because if it was the other way around, why did Jacob have to do all that?
correct? Why did he have to adopt them before he blessed them? Because it's the same way with us.
Mm.
We've
Wow.
been adopted into God's family,
That's
grafted in. That's a form of grafting in, right?
That's powerful.
Adopted in. We see it right here in the Old Testament. So again, with this Israel only, well, then guess what? Then you got to get rid of Ephraim. You got to get rid of the tribe of Manasseh. And hold on. Jacob mentions Reuben and Simeon. I wonder who their mama is. I think
and
Reuben
out
might
of
be
all
the
his
elder.
kids, those are the only two he mentions.
Right. The other children, right, from the other two concubines.
I'm looking.
I
right
don't
now.
believe that those, if you can look up those concubines and tell me their name, and if it tells you where they're from.
Reuben's mother is Leah.
Leah, okay, that's in the family.
Let me see. Simeon.
Look up Jacob's concubines.
Simeon's mother is Leah as well.
Okay.
But Jacob's
Concubines, the children. Where they mamas from?
Okay. So Jacob's children and their mothers. Okay. So
Bilhah and
Zipporah,
Uh-huh.
Leah's servant, had Gad and Asher.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bilhah, Rachel's servant, had Dan and Naphtali.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rachel had Joseph and Benjamin, and Leah had Reuben and Simeon and Levi and Judah and Issachar and Zebulun and Dinah.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find my pen. I must have threw it somewhere when I got excited. Praise God. I have a tendency of doing that. Let me see if I can grab me a pen here.
You just need to get a cup of pens.
I do. I need to get a couple of pens because I keep throwing the pen when I get excited when I'm teaching the lesson. Hold on. I see one here on the floor. I dropped it on the floor. Okay, let me get this. All right. Now, okay, Bilhah, who are her children?
Let me click back to it. Okay, so you said the Zipha or
Bilhah.
okay, hers was Dan and Naphtali.
Dan and Naphtali.
Number 5 and 6.
Okay, number 5 and 6. Okay, now Zelpha.
Gad and Asher, 7 and 8.
Gad and Asher. Okay. Now, does it tell you where Bilhah and Zelpha are from?
No, but I can find out. Let's see.
Genesis 35. Okay, 13. Okay, Genesis 35. Let's see, 13. Okay. And see, this is where you have to be great detectives regarding this stuff. Okay, let me look at that again. Genesis 35:22. Okay. Okay. And it came to pass when Israel dwelt in the land that Reuben went and laid with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. Okay, so let's see if it'll tell us where she's from. Okay, let's see. Her name means trouble. Rachel's handmaid, whom she gave as a concubine mother to two of Jacob's, okay, Dan and Naphtali. She is from the city, a city in Simeon. Okay, that's later on. Okay, let me see if I can look it up here. Where is Bilhah from? Okay. Let me just highlight this. All right. Okay. Let's see, maybe it might tell us. Some of it might tell us, some of it sometimes.
So this thing I just found, I don't know how accurate it is.
Okay.
Says our tradition tells us that Laban also had two wives. Most traditions assert that Laban's second inferior wife was a concubine, while others say that she was actually his maidservant. Leah and Rachel were sisters born of Laban's primary wife, and Bilhah and Zilpah were daughters of his second wife, making Bilhah and Zilpah the half-sisters of Rachel and Leah. Before they married, Laban gifted Bilhah and Zilpah to Leah and Rachel as handmaidens.
Okay, so they will, if that's the case, then they will be considered, I believe, Israelites. Because I never got a chance to look them up. Okay. I'm just trying to see people texting me. Okay. So all right, so they will be considered that. Now, so then if that's the case, then the only two sons that are Gentile boys in that case will be Ephraim and Manasseh for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Because of their mother. So, because I said I was going to look that up and I never did get a chance to, but now I did. Okay, so Zilpah and however you pronounce her name. Okay, so they the half sister to Rachel and Leah.
That's what I found. I'm gonna still not now I'm gonna do more research on it though.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask, are they let me see, is she a Gentile or Israelite?
Because it looks like the Bible doesn't say anything about it.
Right. That's why I'm just looking. It doesn't hurt to look. I'm just asking. Hopefully the computer will understand. Okay. Okay. Rachel marries Jacob, her father Laban, the maid, whom she gives Jacob as a wife. Hebrew Isha. That's an Isha. Okay. Okay. It doesn't say who is Bilhah in the Old Testament. Okay. I'll just look at God questions for the heck of it. Maybe it might tell me. Okay. Now she's a female slave. A member of the family and an illegitimate channel for hereditary succession and inheritance. Okay, so it's still calling her illegitimate.
See, and that's I just read from Got Questions, which I got questions. It hasn't done me wrong yet. Says some Jewish scholars have suggested that Zilpah and Bilhah were Laban's daughters by a concubine.
Right. That's what I got too.
So it looks like that's the common
denominator.
Yeah.
I'll have to look further into it. So I'll just put a question mark by her name and Zilpah's name. But again, it doesn't rule out what was just explained to everybody. The fact that regarding Ephraim and Manasseh, that's already big enough as it is. Now Bilhah and Zilpah, I have to go back and actually find out what their origin is as well. But my point is, family, with Ephraim and Manasseh, they were adopted in to the family, and then they were blessed by Israel, which is Jacob at this particular time. So again, that Israel only situation for salvation is ruled out, because if that's the case, then they will have to get rid of Ephraim and Manasseh, and quite a few other people, Ruth the Moabitess herself, Tamar, Bathsheba, and all of the rest of them who are part of what? Jesus' lineage, right? So, and then Melchizedek, what you gonna do with him? Then Abraham himself, because he wasn't no Israelite. So they will have to get rid of all of these patriarchs. What are they gonna have? Nothing, right? So I wanted to show that avenue to you, brother warrior to God. And then again, when you brought up, which I didn't want to go to just yet, but I'm going here now. What do we do?
I love this one. I love this one.
You want to read it?
This just messes them up all over the place. Yeah. Do you have King James?
Yeah, it's in the KJV.
Okay. So I'm gonna start at verse 9.
Go ahead. I got it up.
And it shall be Aaron's and his sons, and they shall eat it in the holy place, for it is most holy unto him of the offerings of the Lord made by fire by a perpetual statute. And the son of an Israelite woman whose father was an Egyptian, which if genealogy is based off the dad, then this is an Egyptian man. So everybody keep that in mind. Went out among the children of Israel, and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp. And the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of the Lord and cursed. And they brought him unto Moses, and his mother's name was Selomith, the daughter of Debri of the tribe of Dan. And they put him in ward, that the mind of the Lord might be showed them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, bring forth him that has cursed without the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let all the congregation stone him. And here it is, people. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, whoever curses his God shall bear his sin. Whoever curses his God shall bear his sin. So if genealogy is based off the father, so either way, this passage just destroys them in two ways. In two ways. Because if its genealogy is off of the father, then it destroys them, because what business does God have right here saying that he is the God of this Egyptian? Which destroys him right there. But if genealogy is off the mother, then this is an Israelite, which means it's not off the father like they say it is. So either way, they have some explaining to do.
That's right. And not only that, hold on, I'll show you a New Testament example. Acts chapter 16. Read that, verse 1.
Then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple whose name
Timothy.
Disciple was there named Timotheus, the son of Timothy, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess and believed, but his father was a Greek. No, but Sister Cherry, that's a Jew that was just in Greece.
No, because there's a problem. That word here, Greek, is Helen, right?
Which is a
Helen.
full-blown Greek.
Which is a full-blown Greek, right? Look
White
at the
man to them.
definition. Okay, from Javan. The Greeks are from Javan. I'm going by the Table of Nations in Genesis chapter 10. So his father is an actual Greek. Now, like you just gave the explanation for Leviticus 24:10, that would apply here. His mama
100%.
is a Jewess. His daddy is a Greek. If you're going to say you are what your father is, then you just made Timothy a Gentile. And if you're going to
100%.
say that Timothy is an Israelite, which he is an Israelite, then it's coming through his mama.
They got some explaining to do.
Catch 22, that part. See what I'm saying? So again, and hold on, there's another one going back to what? Going back over here to Ruth chapter 2, real quick, before I go to 4. Ruth chapter 2, verse I want to say 11. Yes, going down, recompense Israel and find favor in thy sight. Confident has spoken firmly thy handmaids. Okay, and reapers. I always get mixed up with this one. In the city and saw forth, and mother-in-law acknowledged that it showed that blah blah blah. It showed kindness. Okay, okay. So Ruth the Moabitess. Okay, it's a word here, nakar, that I'm looking for. Let me find it here because I have it highlighted here. I should have, there's no way I can save it in Blue Letter Bible. I wish I could save all of this mess all in one, but it's kind of hard to. Ruth chapter 2, right? And let me sign my butt in here so I can see my notes. All right. And I'm in the KJV, which I don't need. I know I highlighted it in the ESV. I think I did, because I'll be using the ESV a lot when I study. Okay. So now let's go down. Yes. Now look at this. In verse 10. So in Ruth chapter 2, verse 10, she says, and Boaz answered and said unto her, it hath fully been showed me all that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thine husband, and how thou hast left thy father and thy mother and the land of thy nativity, and art come unto a people which thou knowest not hitherto. Right? And let me go back. I read the wrong one. And look what she says. And then she fell on her face. This is Ruth. And she bowed herself to the ground and said unto him, talking to Boaz, why have found grace in thy eyes, that thou shouldest take knowledge of me, seeing that I am a stranger? So now you know they like to play with that word stranger, right?
100%.
Well, guess what? This stranger is not the same, because look at it. That word here is nakri. Listen to it.
Strong's H5237. Nochri. Nochri.
Nokri. Now read that to me. What does it say?
A foreigner, an alien, unknown, unfamiliar. A
foreign woman, right? So Ruth herself acknowledges that she is a foreigner.
Different was one of the words.
Exactly. She is a foreigner. She is not an Israelite. However, we already know in Ruth chapter 4, verse 11, she ends up marrying who?
Boaz.
And Boaz is what?
Israelite.
An Israelite man is marrying a foreign woman named Ruth, the Moabitess, and they end up having a child named who? Obed.
Yeah, Obed. And that's,
So
and
what that
technically,
is,
he would be a Moabite if it's off the mother.
if it's off the mother, he's considered a Gentile. Now I'm going to go here because watch what happens here. Let's go to Ruth chapter 4. And I want you to start here at verse 11.
Okay. All
Right
of,
here.
you said 11, correct?
Yeah, you can start at 10 if you want to.
Okay, I'll start at 10.
All
I
right.
have also acquired Ruth the Moabitess, the widow of Milan, to be my wife, to restore the name of the deceased to his inheritance.
Stop
that-
there for a second. This is called the Lever right. L-E-V, I think it's E-R or I-R. Lever right. The Lever right is when the eldest son dies, the next son goes unto the widow of that first son, and they bear a child in the net for the name, to carry on the name of the eldest son, to keep it in the family. Go ahead, continue.
You said, what was that called?
It's called Lever right.
Mm.
It's part of the law, which Hebrew Israelites don't know nothing about.
Man. So to restore the name of the deceased to his inheritance, so that the name of the deceased will not be cut off from his brothers or from the gate of his birthplace. You are witnesses today. So first off, I just want to say, why do you have this Israelite carrying what happens to someone from Moab? Like, he cares about this man's inheritance and his livelihood after he has passed away.
Well, not only does he care about the inheritance itself, but he cares about this woman herself named Ruth.
Which just shows, like, you have these Hebrew Israelites talking down on people who they look at as not Israelites, but you have this Israelite man caring about this dead Gentile and his daughter. Like, it's crazy.
No, Ruth was, hold on. Ruth was the wife of Milan.
The wife, yes.
Right. Yes. Milan was an Israelite married to this foreign woman, this Gentile woman named Ruth, who was a Moabite from the land of Moab.
And why did he care about her?
Because he loved her. That's how it
100%.
You can't control who you love. That part. Come on.
Which blow, like, he loves this Gentile woman. Yet they treat who they look at as non-Israelite as nothing. All the people at the gate and the elders said, "We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your house," and I love this, "may the Lord make the woman who is coming into your house like Rachel and Leah, the two who built the household of Israel."
Now notice he didn't say Jacob.
No, he said Rachel and Leah, who built the household of Israel.
Come on.
Who built the household of Israel.
Come on.
May you achieve, and like, before I continue, there's a reason why I think Satan went to Eve and why he tries going to women multiple times in the Bible. There's an importance of woman, just as there's an importance of man, and I think Satan knows that. But then it continues. So, built the house of Israel. May you achieve wealth and power in Ephrathah and become famous in Bethlehem. Further, may your house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, because of the offspring which the Lord will give you by
now
this
stop
young
there.
woman.
Tamar is also, she's not an Israelite. Tamar is a Hittite.
Mm.
Now, some scholars say that her origin is unknown, but I have other scholars that saying that Tamar is a Hittite. But both agree that she's not an Israelite. So now we got more boys, Perez and Zerah, which is also in the line of who? Of Jesus. See what I'm saying? You see all this mixing? You see all this mixing? But let's keep going because we on Ruth and Boaz. Something else is about to show right here. So keep going.
Okay. So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife, and he went into her, and the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth. Then the woman said to Naomi, "Blessed is the Lord, who has not left you without a redeemer, grandson as heir today, and may his name become famous in Israel. May he also be to you one who restores life and sustains your old age, for your daughter-in-law, who loves you, is better to you than 7 sons, has given birth to him."
Okay, keep going.
Then Naomi took the child and placed him in her lap, and she became his nurse. The neighbor woman gave him a name, saying, "A son, grandson, has been born to Naomi." They named him Obed, worshiper. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David, the ancestor of Jesus Christ.
Keep going.
Now these are the descendants of Perez. Perez was the father of Hezron. Hezron, the father of Ram. Ram, the father of Aminadab. Aminadab, the father of Nahshon. Nahshon, the father of Salmon. Salmon, the father of Boaz. Boaz, the father of Obed. Obed, the father of Jesse. And Jesse, the father of David, the king of Israel, and the ancestor of Jesus Christ.
So Jesus Christ's lineage is mixed with Jew and Gentile. How you gonna get rid of the Gentiles when they are coming down through Jesus' lineage? So
it's all over. Gee, and that's what I think is so powerful about the gospel, is the fact that Jesus came into this earth, and he chose to come through a lineage that was mixed, to die for the world, to die for everybody who was a part of that lineage, Jew and Gentile, so that everybody could be saved.
That's right. What you say, Brother Bill? I don't see in scripture disrespect her because she's a Gentile. Oh, that's the Black Hebrew Israelism, not scripture. That part there, brother, you're right. So the fact of it is, they not looking that when they say the Hebrew Israelites claim that they're reading the law or they're reading the Old Testament, that's a lie, because right here is showing Jew and Gentile in Jesus' lineage. So how you gonna separate the two? This is why Hebrew Israelites chose to go through, oh, you are what your father is. But here's the thing, we just showed earlier on in Leviticus 24:10, if you do that, then hey, okay, cool. Now you saying that this Israelite, this Gentile boy, God is the God of this Gentile boy. So how you gonna get him up out of there? Then when we look at Tamar and Judah's story, we see that Tamar on the mama side is what? Gentile also. So how you gonna get rid of Perez and Zerah? Because they mix, just like Joseph's boys, Ephraim and Manasseh. How you gonna get rid of them? You got to get rid of all of this if you go that route, and you're caught. So some of these people, some of those men were Gentile men. Some of those women are Gentile women who are mixing with Israelite men and women. What you gonna do? They all mingled.
And you have to remember, I'm looking right now, but you have to remember Bathsheba.
Right.
So the direct, not just
And
not
that's
just
Solomon's
not just
mama.
Nathan, not just Nathan, which is the physical line of Jesus, but Solomon, which is the kingly line of Jesus as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's Solomon's mama. Solomon and Nathan. So now what you gonna do? Now what you gonna do? See what I'm saying? So it's over. And then let's not forget Solomon. Solomon done had 21 flavors, bro. 700 wives and 300 concubines. And you can't tell me that he didn't have kids by some of those women. He did.
Lots of them.
A lot of them.
And then
He
they
had an
went and had
Edomite
kids.
woman. He had a Hittite woman. He had Israelite women. He had an Egyptian woman. He had an Ethiopian woman. What are we doing here?
Then you have to think they went and had kids.
See what I'm saying? Now you see why God moved to say taking genealogy off the table, bro? 'Cause everybody
100%.
mixed.
That's why Paul calls it foolish. It's like you can be going for days and never like solidify, okay, this is what it is. It's foolish to try to look at genealogy.
Yeah, it is. And I'm gonna show it. And this one is gonna really hurt. This one is going to hurt. We just mentioned her, right? So that will be let's go to 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel, I think chapter 11, if I want to say. Let's see, 2 Samuel chapter 11. And let's see. Okay. It is not, look at this. Is it not this? Look at this. What that say, bro?
Is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Elam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? Keep going.
No, you don't have to go from there.
One line. How about the one-liners?
One line, and I believe, and let's see, let me see it. I think chapter 12 also. All right. Let's see, chapter 12. Nathan, let me see, go back. Oh, right here. And why have you despised the word of the Lord by doing evil in his sight? You have struck down Uriah the Hittite with the sword and have taken his wife to be your wife. You have killed him with the sword of the Ammonites, because of course he put Uriah on the front line so he can get Bathsheba or whatever, because he had already gotten her pregnant. Uriah the Hittite to be your wife. Why we got a Hittite fighting for David, and what is a Hittite doing amongst Israel, and what is David doing sleeping with a Hittite woman?
Yeah, you have to remember too, David's his mighty men. He had multiple mighty men who were definitely not all Israelites. Let me
again, all of this is, listen, y'all don't believe
or
me,
his mighty warriors.
Y'all can read hold on. You can read 2 Samuel 23:34. Go to 2 Samuel 11:3, which I just read. Read 2 Samuel chapter 15. And guess what? In fact, Bathsheba's grandfather was a Hittite. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, he had an Ammonite as part of his mighty warriors.
Yes. And he took wives, talking about Solomon, he took wives, a wife that was an Ammonite. He took a wife that was a Moabite. 1 Kings chapter 11, go and read it. He's got an Egyptian wife. He got a Hittite wife. He got an Ammonite wife. He got an Amorite wife. He got a Moabite wife. He got an Israelite wife. A Canaanite. Listen, Solomon had 21 flavors, and best believe he had kids by them. So what you gonna do? My point of going to this family is to show you how mixed these people were. Jesus' lineage is mixed like heck.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And a lot of those people, ancestry of Jesus, well, all of them are important, the men and the women. That's my point. So this whole segregation of you are what your father is, salvation is only for Israel. Shut up. That's a lie. Because now you got to literally peel Jesus' lineage apart from each other, and you can't do it.
You want to know something interesting too that I heard and I didn't realize, and I think a lot of people pass over is and go figure, it's about Passover. When Jesus cleared the temple of all the money changers,
Yeah.
do you know the area that he cleared in the temple?
Mm-hmm.
He cleared the court of the Gentiles.
The court of the Gentiles.
So he was angry because he walked in and already the Gentiles are being told, like, you can't properly worship. And now he's walking in after he sees this fig tree that's not bearing fruit. He walks in, and remember, Israel is many times referred to as a fig tree. So he walks in and sees these Gentiles who are already pushed as far away from the inner court as they can. Now they can't even properly worship God because there's people in their way selling things and buying things. And so he gets angry. Why would he get angry if Gentiles have no place in the kingdom?
That's right. That's right. And Jesus got highly pissed off. So pissed off that he flipped over the money changers. And listen, I'm not gonna lie. I just found that out the other day that was the court of the Gentiles where he did that at.
Saying, and that when I found that out, I was like, oh my goodness, that is like so powerful.
The Pharisees with their doggish self, right? The Pharisees with their doggish self was literally overpricing and charging these people to get sacrificial animals in order to participate in Passover. Jesus was highly pissed off. That was in the court of the Gentiles. I was thinking that it was in the general area, brother warrior to God, and I was wrong. I mean, of course, we never had a lesson on it, but I'm telling you what I was thinking. I thought that was in like a general area, maybe where Jews and Gentiles probably came before they went to their respective areas. But no, they were overcharging just the Gentiles, not the Jews. Listen, family, listen. Let me tell you something. It's still happening today. You know why? I told you. I showed it to you. I'm about to show it to you again, right here in front of warrior to God. Watch this, warrior to God. Watch this. Look at this. So let's see if I can find that one that was real detailed. Look at this. Right? It's way too expensive to become a Jew, right? This sister here testifies that they have to literally, it costs them $40,000 a year. $40,000 a year right?
That's
To
like
keep up with
Scientology.
this stuff. Listen, bro. And then get this, the classes for conversion,
Mm.
$1,500 plus. They have to pay $300 to an overseer, a rabbi, to oversee their conversion. That's number one. Number two, it's $150 per class. It's 8 classes. Do the math. $75 for the book. So that's 8 books. All together, estimating $1,500 to do this. Plus, just to worship the God of Israel
And then be put back under the law.
and then be put back under the law. And guess what? If they build the temple, what part are the proselytes are going to, what court do they go in?
That's a good question.
They go into what? They Gentiles by blood.
Yeah. So theoretically,
not-
they would go into the court of the Gentiles.
The court of the Gentiles. So you gonna
You're
pay
paying
them
all that
just
money
to-
to not even
just
go
to
into
sit on the damn
regular.
lawn. That's what I'm saying. You paying $1,500 to not get a full right hand of fellowship or whatever they call a fellowship, right hand, just to sit on the lawn.
That's like if I pay to go to an NFL game and I sit in the parking lot.
Where did I find that from? I just typed it up. How much does it cost to be to convert over to being a Jew? That's all you got to type in, Brother Eric.
That's crazy.
And the person gives their testimony. I think it's 1 or 2 people that give their testimonies about how expensive it is to become a Jew. I thank God now I'm a Christian. I thank the Lord, not because of money. Screw it. I listen, God is worth it, but God don't need your money. The scriptures say the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof and all that dwell in it. He owns everything. So why the hell does he need your money? Why do you have to literally spend 15? Come on now, family. Let me run this down to you again. You make it make sense for me. If Cherry Love is wrong, I'm open for your rebuke and your correction. Okay. Here's the thing. You got to pay $150 per class. Right? Number 2, you got to pay $75 for each book. Number 3, you got to pay $300 for a rabbi to oversee your conversion. Why do I have to pay $1,500 plus just to worship the God of Israel? Make it make sense. And this lady here talks about $40,000 a year to do the requirements of a Jew. Y'all make it make sense for me, huh?
Somebody needs to tell her that Jesus already paid the price.
Sir, that's why I'm a Christian today.
Paid the price, and we don't have to. We're not under the burden of the law.
$1,500 just to be thrown. It's like paying to go back into slavery. You make it make sense for me.
Man.
Mm-hmm. Make it make sense, Mama Millicent. Brother Mike, Eric, come on, make it make sense. If I'm wrong, correct me. I'll listen. If I'm wrong, I will openly. Okay, I'm wrong. I accept your correction. Come on, make it make sense. Mm-hmm. And this was the stupid Hebrew Israelites because they so dumb.
Nowadays, that's most people's like what most people make a year.
Yeah.
Like,
get your taxes, baby. Get your taxes.
You need to get a second job just to become Jewish.
There you go. There you go. Mm-hmm. $40,000 a year. Just to go back into what? To bondage?
So only rich people can become Jewish.
Pretty much. Because everybody don't make $40,000 a year, bro.
And then if you get a second job, you pay, and then you can't even go to synagogue or anything. You're working all the time.
Right. You got to look at it. 3 times a year, the men have to make a trip to Israel, right? According to Deuteronomy 16:16, to visit the Holy Land, right? And they can't come empty-handed. So they got to bring, I guess, a sacrifice or, whatever they're using to memorialize, whatever. I don't know, maybe more money. Just a barak at the wall. Not to mention, hold on, didn't we go over what that video where it says that the Israeli government is literally paying for just rabbinical Judaism 11 million shekels a year? How much does that equate into US money? $3 billion. Y'all remember that? And $1 million a year is paid for a priest at the wall. And that equated into 1 million shekels equals what? $309,000 to that priest at the Wailing Wall.
Oh.
So altogether, we got what? 3 billion plus 1 million? I mean, come on. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Just I'm gonna leave this alone. Willie, I bear one another's burdens, thus fulfill the law of Christ. I'm with you, Sister Shoshana. I'm with you, sis. I hear you. You are so right about it. And listen, God is worth it. He's worth it. But listen, God did not prescribe what you're looking at right now. No, this is not what God said to do. This is why Jesus got so pissed off with the Jews because of what they was doing to the Gentiles. And those Jews were literally taking advantage of those Gentiles who wanted to worship the God of Israel and overcharging them, right? Making them pay just to obtain a sacrifice in order to participate in Passover. Exodus chapter 12 don't say that. Exodus chapter 12 says if a foreigner wants to partake in the Passover, the only thing he had to do is what? Get circumcised. So why are you making them pay at all? If you don't believe me, go and read Exodus 12:48. Stop playing with me.
And then they still have to give a 10th.
And still got to give a 10th.
Oh,
are you kidding me right now? Look at Mama Millicent, for the love of money. Thank you, ma'am. Listen, Mama Millicent, Mama, look at Exodus 12:48. And what it say? And the stranger shall sojourn with thee and will keep the Passover to the Lord. Let all the males be what? Pay $1,000. Is that what it says? No, be circumcised.
Which goes back to Genesis.
Thank you. And then let them come near and what? Keep it. And he shall be as one born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. All they had to do is be circumcised. It never told them that they had to pay money. No wonder Jesus came in and flipped those money changers over. He was pissed off, and so am I. And to the Hebrew Israelites in the bushes, you dumb as hell. Talking about you reading, I said it. Talking about you reading scripture. You ain't reading no scripture, and you ain't doing no kind of history.
They're just reading precepts. That's all they're
Thank
reading.
you. Dumber than 4 o'clock in the morning, then you got the nerve to open your mouth. Shut up.
I guarantee you none of these verses are in their precept packet.
And you know what? You right, brother Eric. If you say one more thing, listen, sounds just like the camps and the moderates, bro. Hold on. IUIC, they charge them people almost $1,200 to $1,300 just for they what? They little suits that they got to put on. Not to mention, they don't even go in where those people can get a discount for their hotel that they will stay in. And on top of it, then they got to pay for their so-called classes. Then they got to pay a so-called registration fee. By the time they all done, you don't spend about $3,500 just for a doggone day.
Well, that and that's why like in my book I call them a heretical cult, because I have studied cults, and the number one thing that cults do is that they make you, if you look at Scientology, if you look at Hebrew Israelism, if you look at all these different cults, they make you pay money in order to like have a higher status or just be able to partake of whatever they're giving. And the more money you pay, the more reliant you become on them.
That's
Because
right.
now if someone's like, oh, here's the truth, now you're thinking, man, I've given everything to these people. Do like, it's either I continue believing and everything I've given is worth it, or I suddenly say, you know what, I'm done. And I just gave, and now I realize I've been duped, and nobody wants to realize they've been duped. And I think that's why it's so hard to turn some of these people back to the truth, because a little bit of pride sets in, and you're like, man, I've just given everything to these people,
Yeah,
and it's sad.
it is sad. And I'm looking like, why are y'all doing this? This is evil. And they want to talk about the law. No, 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 no. Don't talk about the law. Don't, because right here it says, beware that there be not any thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of the release, is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him not, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be a sin unto thee. Thou shalt surely give him, and thy heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that this thing the Lord God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all thy puttest thine hand unto. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, thou shalt open thy hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy in the land. And if thy brother, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, and then the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And then it goes on and on and on. But it tells you right here that Israel was supposed to take care of the poor. Israel was supposed to take care of the fatherless. Israel was supposed to take care of the widow.
Which is now what we're supposed to do.
And the foreigner. Exactly. And you know what? I see Christians doing that. I see Christians doing that. Name to me, family. Don't worry. I am so open to your rebuke. And listen, I will go right here again. I don't care. To any Christian brother and sister, I will openly stand for your correction right now. I give you the link. If I am wrong in what I'm saying, I will humbly accept your correction or your rebuke. That literally, name to me, show me a Hebrew Israelite that has fed the poor or sent a child to school, giving them a scholarship to school. Show me a Hebrew Israelite open food pantry or have a center for domestic violence or any of the needs that people need. I'm going to say it before you, hold on. I'm going to say it before you answer. This is my take on what I have seen. Them selfish spiritual bastards have done nothing for nobody but lie. Now, if I'm wrong for saying that, correct me now. Go ahead, brother warrior to God. I had to get that off my chest.
No, it's I was just thinking it's the truth, because if they do that, then it just has to be for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So if they are going to do it, they only can find people that fit in with who they think is Israel. Because why, in their worldview, why would you help Esau? And so you have to find organizations that are only for people who are, in your worldview, Israel. So like that's why you don't find it, because they would have to pick and choose these organizations, unlike Christians, who we can go to any organization, because we believe everybody is open for the grace of God. And so it's and I think about it every now and then, like if they were to walk past, because you hear stories all the time of mothers who leave their child in a dumpster or things like that because they can't take care of them, and people walk by and they find these kids in dumpsters and take them and either raise them or bring them somewhere to be raised. And so like, what if they were to walk by a kid in a dumpster and they look in and it's a Caucasian baby?
Oh, well,
Like,
listen, they're going to do exactly what Jesus pointed out here. Go ahead, continue.
It breaks my heart to think what they would do, because I think like human nature would be, oh, let me help this baby. And who cares what color the baby is? Who cares what nationality? You're not going to ask the baby, who's your father? Like, and so it breaks my heart to think that some of them would just leave the baby sitting there. Like that's evil. But their worldview, it's either stand by your worldview or go against your worldview. And if you stand by your worldview, you just proved your worldview is extremely evil.
Well, that goes back here when Jesus was bringing correction to Israel and to all of the people. It's funny how Jesus, when he gave this parable of the Good Samaritan, keyword title, Good Samaritan. Notice he didn't say the good Israelite. Jesus answered and said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment, his garments and stuff, and wounded him. So they hurt him and departed, leaving him half dead. So they beat him up to the point almost to near death. And by chance, there came down a certain priest that way. And when he saw him, he passed on the other side. So guess what? Now we got a priest right here from the temple. He won't even help this man. In the law, what did Deuteronomy chapter 15 say? That you're supposed to help the widow, you're supposed to help the fatherless, you're supposed to help the needy. But here we got this priest, he just pass by somebody that need help and went about his way and crossed over to the other side. Let's keep going. Then likewise, a Levite, all right. And when he was at the place, came and looked down on him, looked at the man that was hurt. And guess what he did? He passed on by. He didn't help the man. Right? But look what happens. But a certain Samaritan, whom the Jews looked down upon, right? Enemies. They like oil and water. This Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him. That should be embarrassing.
Compassion. He felt for him.
That should be embarrassing. It is embarrassing. That's why I'm going to tell you something, Brother Warrior of God, and I'm going to go as far as to say this. A lot of the Jews, even though they don't hold to the Old Testament, not just only because they don't believe it, because not the Old Testament, but the New Testament brings them to shame.
Mm-hmm.
It brings them to shame. You call yourself the people of God, the apple of God's eye, and you act like this. And you got others who are on the outside, Gentiles on the outside, that are better by nature and better by practice than you with the law. Come on here, Brother Bill. I'll let you in. Come on. They better by, listen, we got folk who ain't had no law, who didn't have the temple, who didn't have the oracles of God, or none of that. They better by nature and better by practice than the ones that had all of that.
Mm.
And Jesus brings it out, does he not? He brought it out in Luke chapter 4, verses 18 all the way through to 31 with Naaman and the widow.
Hey, Sister Cherry. What's
God
up, Warren?
bless you, brother. How are you?
I
What's
just
up,
wanted to
Brother
drop
Bill?
in real quick. Hey, how you doing? And blessings to my family of Christ in the live chat and those listening. I just wanted to touch base on something that you guys, as you were reading, real quick, dealing with the parable about the Good Samaritan. Each of the three people you called out, which was it, Sister Cherry, was what? What was the first one?
The first one was a priest.
The second one?
The second one was a Levite.
Let's just look at these two for real quick. The
Yes,
first
sir.
one was a priest. What is the priest? What is the duty of the priest?
The duty of the priest was to take care of the temple, to do the help with the sacrifices appointed by the high priest. Also to basically to do justice, mercy, uprightness, you name it. The list is long. So, you know,
He was appointed to be holy.
holy.
Yes, he was
Yeah.
appointed to be holy before God, and he administers the word. He administers the law, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now we look at the second one. Now, the Levite, dealing with his priesthood. Now, what did God do about the tribe of Levi?
What do you mean do what with the tribe? Oh,
Yes,
they were separate. They were set apart. They were
Yeah.
They were set apart, and what was they set apart for? What purpose?
number one for the priestly line, because that's where Aaron's priestly line is coming out of, I believe. To take care of the temple, to basically to do
Make sure everybody
ordering
was
of-
in line.
in line.
Amen.
Yeah,
Okay,
basically.
now we have one that was in charge of administering the law, and then we have one who was a learner and a student of the law. So
Hmm.
they should know about what you just even cited about as far as what they were supposed to do for the stranger, for the widows, for the helpless, and all those things. But here it is, the ones that they looked down upon about the Samaritan, who was what? Considered a ceremonially unclean individual because he was a half-breed, basically. He was a
Correct.
product of an interracial